What is up, guys? NinjaNick333 back with another round of the Pokemon Knoxville Regional Championships. As always, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe to feed that algorithm. Only about 15% of watch time is from subscribers right now. We could really improve that number to make the channel grow so that you can see even more videos like this even more often. We see the meta share of the day one decks here. We've got 21-ish% playing random garbage. And you see the top 6 meta decks of this tournament are about 30% almost Lugia. It's been sitting at this for a while. My almost entire group was playing Lugia. It was 4 of us out of the 6 were all playing Lugia in my Airbnb. I was playing the standard Lugia, so were a couple others. They were playing Snorlax instead of Raikou. And then we had a Lugia Flying Pikachu, which started off the hottest, but ended at the same record as me, 6-3. We have Lost Zone Box as about 18% here. We have Mew VMAX as about 12%. Regigigas has gone up ever so slightly to 8% here. That might actually be the same it was in the previous. We see Vikavolt come out of absolutely nowhere with about 8% as well. And we have Hisuian Goodra has dropped down to about 5%. Hisuian Goodra definitely not as good against some of these decks like Mew, VMAX, and Lugia. Really only really good against Lost Zone Box and Regigigas. The Vikavolt coming up this high was something that I did not predict, and that is why I hit 3 of them in a row, and it ended my run at 6-3. So, it ended my run at round 5, honestly. It was awful. But I did misplay a bunch during against it because I did not play test at all against Vikavolt. It's been so long since I played against decks like Seismitoad EX, and that is why I was not as prepared for item lock. I also was not playing Dunsparce, but I don't really believe that that really mattered too much. Even though it really did, it didn't feel like it, so. But that is the meta share here. We're going to get into our first game of this match here. We have, looks like, Evan Campbell versus Jackson Davies here, is it? I thought I saw somebody else on the stream, but I guess I was wrong. They must have been recapping. So both players 4-0. Pokemon loves to put the undefeateds on stream until it becomes win-and-ins. Looks like we actually see Flying Pikachu on the left is very interesting here. And then Jackson is playing Oranguru as his start. Since he has a Dunsparce in his prize cards, I am very much assuming that this is Lugia. We do see the Lugia VSTAR. We see him moving some energies around so he can prize check as well. We also see on the left-hand side, if we had seen the prize cards earlier, there is a powerful colorless energy in there for Evan, so it may be possible that this is a Lugia VSTAR mirror match, but just one of them plays the Flying Pikachu. This is a very interesting match if that is so the case, and it looks like there is a Lugia VSTAR in hand from Evan here. So that is indeed the case. Very interesting matchup. I think the straight Lugia is a little bit favored just because you have access to the Evital to be able to one-shot a Flying Pikachu VMAX. Because the Flying Pikachu only prevents damage done to it from basic Pokemon. Also, if your opponent is forced to put a double turbo on a Flying Pikachu VMAX at some point, you could always V-Guard your Lugia and be able to trade 2 shots with it. And then thus you'd be able to be 1 prize up, trading 2 shots with those 2 types of cards. We are going to see the turn 1 Evo Incense grabs the Archeops. Pretty standard play here from the Lugia deck. You are always going to want to get your Archeops into hand and then immediately discard them if you can. Looks like maybe he might just have an Aurora energy to discard that in hand, since he did shuffle the deck. Or it looks like he has a Serena as well he might be able to use next turn. We are going to use the monkey. I do like that he played the Evo Incense first. He was able to identify his prize cards first and increase the likelihood that that Oranguru was going to draw into capture energy. There were 2 times over the course of this tournament where I did turn 1 have no out to Lugia V and then got a capture energy off my Primate Wisdom after starting with the monkey. And also, if you saw my all of my other matches from these other regionals and higher, that I do like to say that Oranguru is the best starter, best one prize starter, especially going second. My friend Chris did learn that from my videos, as you were able to see in my vlog. If you did not check out my vlog from the Knoxville Regional Championships, it is in the playlist along with all of these games as well. Plus, it is just there right on the homepage of my channel, so you can just go click the NinjaNick333 name underneath this to go straight to my channel, and you can see that right on the homepage there. We are doing the exact same thing. We are going to Evo Incense here for the Archeops to try to get that into the discard potentially. We are shuffling up, so maybe we do not have the out to discard just yet. Maybe he has a Serena as well. Didn't really get to see his hand too much. Yep, he does have a Serena for next turn. We are going to retreat the Pikachu and then read the wind. So that is the way we are retreating the Archeops. We are drawing 3 cards. Like Rule the Region, it is not a attack that you want to be using too much with Lugia. However, it is a lot better than Rule the Region on Palkia. Since you're not just searching for a stadium, you are drawing 3 cards, and you are able to get the Archeops into the discard pile. Since Jackson was not able to get a Lugia V down on his first turn, since he was not able to get one of those down, it is also very safe for Eben to be able to retreat into the Lugia and use that Read the Wind, knowing that Jackson will have to spend another turn putting a Lugia down. This is essentially Evan going first at this point, but was able to potentially play a supporter on his first turn. He did choose not to, which was a little interesting. He had the Serena in hand. We do have to research a whole bunch of cards away. I did see a couple of Aurora energies. Unfortunately, if you're Jackson, you really do have to do that. We do get a quick ball as well. Looks like we're going to discard the Charizard. I don't really like that because you know that your opponent is going to be going down to 2 prize cards before you are. So that Radiant Charizard could really come in clutch later with a Choice Band being able to, or Choice Belt rather, being able to one-shot a potential Lugia VSTAR. Or just be able to take out Lumidians if Evan is forced to go that route as well. But you do have to play the quick ball this turn. You have to get a second Lugia V into play if at all possible. Because if Evan is able to just play a boss's orders and get the double Archeops in play, you are going to just lose your only Lugia V in play and be in the same position as you were the previous turn, where your opponent has everything and you have nothing. You do not want to be that far behind in the Lugia mirror. But again, Jackson is only 1 turn behind now. He can turn this around potentially, especially now that he has double Lugia in play. Looks like Evan is going for the Professor Burnett. That is not a card that we see in Lugia decks very often, where it allows you to search your deck for 2 cards and discard them. So you can discard 2 Archeops. You can discard, just if you get it late game, cards that are just completely dead at the time in your deck. Like, say you've already used Lugia VSTAR and you don't want to put any more into play, you could just Burnett those out of the deck. So a very interesting consistency card. It is a lot worse than the Battle Compressor Team Flare gear of old, which was much preferred. It was an item card that would allow you to discard up to 3 cards from your deck. Since Burnett is a supporter, you can VS Seeker for it, I guess, in Expanded, but still not anywhere near as good as just playing an item card to do it. We do see a Raikou come down as well, and the Summoning Star for the 2 Archeops. We are going to use the first Primal Turbo of this Archeops here. We may even go for a Raikou attack this turn, which would be very interesting. You would be able to knock out the active Oranguru and put 120 onto one of the benched Lugias. Looks like we are just going to charge up the Lugia V-Star instead. I do not agree with this. I think that I would have liked, well, it depends on what you have in hand, right? Because you have to use both Archeops in order to power up the Raikou. And then you would have to get a double turbo onto the Lugia in order to retreat. You don't want to retreat off the powerful colorless energy if you can avoid that. Since you have the V-Guard energy on this as well, you do know that if your opponent gets the Lugia V-Star, they also have to have the triple powerful colorless energy, but along with a choice belt as well in order to take the one-shot. So we are going to have to see if Jackson can get into the choice belt. This is why I like playing Irida in these Lugia decks, because then you can easily immediately search out choice belt on any turn you want by using something like a Luminion in order to get the Irida. I used Irida quite a few times over the course of Knoxville in order to search my deck for just an Evolution Incense in order to get the turn 2 Lugia V-Star. It was a lot better than discarding some of the energy cards that I had in hand, so it has a lot of great uses. But if you're playing the Snorlax build like some of my friends were at this tournament, it's better to just play Bird Keeper instead. We were also playing one of Escape Ropes in all of our decks, just because if you go first in the Lugia mirror and then they only get one Lugia V down on the bench and that's it, you escape rope and you knock them out and then you just instantly win the game. Ooh, so we see that there must have been one too many powerful colorless energies prized or in hand. I do know that he prized one, so there must be one in hand that he can't attach for turn. So that is very unfortunate there for Jackson. Is able to boss and take the knockout on the Pikachu, which was a little bit threatening. However, we do see that there is a Raikou active now, so we can see potentially a choice belt come to this Raikou, take a knockout on the active, and soften up the bench as well. Yep, and we are seeing that we are going for exactly that play. We are going to just do some softening up of these Lugias. We are going to get 3 Aurora Energies onto Raikou. Especially easier to devote those Aurora Energies down to the Raikou now that the Flying Pikachu is in the discard pile. You would have liked to save possibly more Aurora Energies in order to attack with that at some point. And also, since your opponent does have double Archeops, it is a lot less safe to be attacking with the Flying Pikachu VMAX. We are actually seeing the bosses, or the Serena. We are going to knock out the benched Lugia V and put 120 damage to the benched now Lugia V-Star. And this is quickly going very much downhill for Jackson. He's going to have a way to bring up the Lugia V-Star in order to try to prize race here. That is his only way that he can really come back into this game, in my opinion, is if he has a gusting card of some sort for the Lugia V-Star. He could also try to knock out the Flying Pikachu V instead as well. But either way, he's going to have to get a Lugia turn off on the next turn. Or did I say Lugia? Eviltal. An Eviltal on the next turn. I think I said Lugia by mistake. You guys know I misspeak all the time. I'm pretty sure in my vlog I said I needed 91% resistance, and at that point in the editing process, I'm like, I'm not correcting myself when I noticed that. Looks like we might be going for our own Raikou at this point. That would not be bad either. You could boss up the Flying Pikachu V, knock that out, and then put 120 onto the Lugia V-Star, and then that would do it. That would effectively prize race the same way. So that would be a good play. So we do see the Evolution Incense is just thinning the deck. We're going to see another Evolution Incense, again, just thinning the deck. We're going to make sure that we have everything we need in there as well. Looks like we are eyeing up all the energy that are left in deck. We are going to make sure that we have enough to do the Primal Turbo plays. Looks like we don't have enough to attack with the Raikou, it looks like. I only see 2 Auroras and a Heat Fire for colored energies, and Raikou cannot use the Heat Fire, so that better be in hand for the Aurora energy. So we are using, or I guess we're using the Capture energy on the active here. We are going for the Evital this turn instead, so we could see the Evital Knocking out the flying Pikachu, I suppose, would be the best way. You don't want to knock out the Lugia because then the flying Pikachu could become active, evolve, and then knock out the Yveltal. And then you have to get through a 310 HP dude without the use of your Yveltal. So, looks like, though, instead, we do not have any sort of boss or gust effect at all. So we are just going to power up the Archeops and start powering up the Yveltal. Take the 1 prize knockout here. Going down to 3 prize cards remaining. You're still going to need to take 2 more knockouts in order to win the game. Kevin only needs 2 more knockouts in order to win the game. So you are, again, still 1 turn behind. We do see the Evolution Incense is getting a Lugia VSTAR here from Evan's side. Looks like maybe we do not have access to a Flying Pikachu right now. Or we already have it in hand. No, it doesn't look like it. So again, just thinning the deck. We are going to play that Marnie. I don't really like the way he's shuffling because he can see the cards as he's shuffling that way. But shouldn't matter too much since it's all going to the bottom of the deck anyway. We are going to see the Pikachu V-Max now. So I would not put the Pikachu V-Max in play because you know that Yveltal is just ready and waiting, very hungry to pop those Pikachu's balloons. We are going to go for the Capture Energy. We might be going for a single prize attacker here. Yeah, it would have been great if Evan had a Gusting card this turn. He could have taken out either the Yveltal or the Lugia V. I think you would take out the Lugia V and attack it with the Archeops. I think that's the way I would go about it. So we are going to retreat the Flying Pikachu. It does have free retreat, one of the best parts about Flying Pikachu. And we are just going to take the knockout on the active with the Lugia V-Star. So now, Jackson can take the knockout here with whatever he would like. He is going to choose the Yveltal because that is a 1 prize Pokemon if Evan is able to get like the Flying Pikachu V-Max set up on the next turn. It will be unfortunate that he won't have access to the Yveltal, but maybe Jackson can dig for a one-shot on the Pikachu if he finally has access to those powerful colorless energies. I do believe off of this knockout, he will take 1 out of his prize cards. He will also need a Choice Belt, I believe, as well, in order to get to that 310 number. We do see the Choice Belt is in deck, so we are going to have to see that come out at some point here. We also need the energy in order to attack. We know we have Aurora and Heat Fire in there, along with just 1 of any other energy. He does not have a second Archeops anymore. But, oh, no, he has the double turbo on there. So he is fully charged up. We are going to see the Marnie as well. Jackson's going to Marnie 1 card to the bottom of his deck. Evan's going to Marnie his Pikachu VMAX to the bottom of the deck, which is a little unfortunate for him. That was likely going to be his next attacker. Although you wouldn't really want to. Yeah, Evan doesn't really have any powerful energies left because they're all on. 3 of them are already on the Lugia, so the Archeops won't be able to take any finishing blow on the Lugia V-Star here, if that ends up coming up. But I mean, Evan is still so far ahead here that maybe he can afford it. I don't know. This kind of evens it up here, so this is weird. So Evan is going to need a Boss's Orders and the Pikachu VMAX. They are going to be going for that. We're going to see a Capture Energy and a Speed Lightning Energy that fully powers up the Pikachu. We see Ultra Ball discarding 2 cards to go for the Luminion to grab the Boss's Orders or Serena. We will knock out the Lugia V-Star and go down to 0 prize cards remaining, winning game 1. So again, really hurt that Jackson was not able to get a Lugia V down on turn 1. That is what really killed him here. The game was very even up until that point. Let's skip ahead a little bit if YouTube will allow us. We do see we get double Aurora in prizes for Jackson along with a powerful. That's not very good there. Evan's not as detrimental here. Oh, and Jackson also starts the Stoutland. His deck is not cooperating with him during this day, I'll tell you. He is 4-0 now, which is a great record. But I have had tournaments fall apart at 4-0. I've had tournaments fall apart at 5-0. So this loss here will be pretty detrimental to his win percentage. You need to go 6-2-1 at minimum, or 5-0-4, which is an equivalent record, in order to make it into day 2. So Jackson is still going to be looking for 2 more wins. So he's got to win 2 more matches. They're already 20 minutes down in this match, and he is down a game. He's going to have to swiftly 2-0 from here, Evan, in the next 30 minutes. And with that Stoutland start, that's not looking likely. So we are going to be prize checking here. I do like that. You want to make sure you know what you have access to and what you do not. We are going to be Ultra Balling for that Lugia V. Again, not sure why we're discarding the Charizard. That is a good late game attacker if your opponent still has a Lugia VSTAR in play. But maybe it was more expendable than some of the other things in his hand. We are going to bench that Lugia V. Looks like we do not have the ability to get any others in play, but it is fine because you are going first. Your opponent cannot knock out your Lugia V on the first turn. So Evan will have to be able to get 2 Lugia Vs in play. So it looks like we are going to discard the Lost Vacuum with the Quick Ball to get that Lugia V. We are also going to check some prize cards as well here. Make sure we have access to everything that we need. Yeah, so it'll be nice if Evan has another Quick Ball or a Capture Energy in hand. If he has the Capture Energy, it's best used on the Lugia V. That Pumpkaboo is probably getting immediately knocked out. Actually, Jackson starting the Stoutland isn't the worst case scenario just because Evan specifically started the Pumpkaboo. You can put a couple powerful colorless energies on that Stoutland along with one other energy card and take the one shot on the Pumpkaboo. Actually, no, you only need one powerful colorless energy. So you could put like a couple capture energies or maybe even the V-Guard energy potentially onto the Stoutland and take the knockout on the Pumpkaboo and take 2 prize cards for it. So yeah, it's still not the most optimal starter for him here, but because Evan started the Pumpkaboo, it might end up working out for him. Oh, it looks like Evan passes. If Jackson is on the escape rope like a lot of the good players were during this tournament, he will have an immediate out to knocking out that Lugia V and making it so he almost instantly wins the game. We are going to see a Capture Energy come down to the Stoutland. I'm a little curious to see as to what he gets off of this. I would not likely go for another Lugia V. He might go for a Raikou. Would not be a bad idea. The Charizard is already discarded. He could go for the Evital, but I like holding that until the turn you want to use it. Looks like we are going to go for the Manaphy. I do like the idea of that just because he knows his opponent is playing the Raikou, so that will insulate his bench from being able to be damaged with that Water Veil ability from the Manaphy. We also see the Dunsparce as well, so really going ahead and trying to insulate himself against the Raikou. We are going to Professor's Research to try to draw some extra cards, discards, and Archeops that way as well. Hopefully we have a way to get to... It looks like there is an Ultra Ball, so we can get to the Lugia V-Star this turn. But I think maybe he may be short in Archeops. I did see the 1 go to the discard pile. Do we have 2 in there or just the 1? Jackson will have to play this Ultra Ball. There may not be cards in his hand that he necessarily wants to discard, but I think since your bench is already full, you can safely discard Monkey. Looks like there's a Lugia V maybe in his hand as well. I would discard both of those Pokemon. Would be completely fine in my opinion. Yeah, I do like holding on to Monkey, but I mean, at this point, your bench is so clogged. That's the problem with playing both Manaphy and Dunsparce in the Lugia deck, is that it just gives you so little bench room. You can only keep like one attacker in play sometimes. Especially since he started Stoutland, that's again not ideal. But yeah, if Jackson is playing Escape Rope, I would love to see that this turn. And then he can knock out the Lugia V and just basically win the game. Then go in with the Stoutland the next turn, take out the Pumpkaboo, go down to 2 prize cards remaining. Looks like we are just putting multiple powerful colorless energies onto the Stoutland. Again, you only need 1 in order to take the knockout, so I don't like that there is a second one being committed there, because you can potentially put 3 on a Lugia VSTAR to trade one-shots that way. So that is a very important factor to the math. I guess we see Choice Belt, so maybe that won't matter, but if your opponent gets the V-Guard energy, then putting the powerful energy on the Stoutland could have mattered. Jackson also takes a powerful colorless energy off of his prize card, so now he does have access to the full 2 powerful colorless energies remaining. So we do Quick Ball away a Pikachu VMAX here. I'm starting to think maybe it's only a 2-1 line that he plays. It might be a 2-2. No, I think I saw maybe another Pikachu VMAX in deck. So he's probably playing 2-2. There is also a Drapion in there, so this is a very interesting deck list. I think if you're playing the Pikachu version, it's probably fine playing the Drapion, but otherwise I don't like it in there. I know my friend Chris did play Drapion in his Lugia VSTAR deck. He is the only one of us who ended up making Day 2. However, he never really played against any Mews over the course of the whole tournament, so that Drapion ended up being a dead card the entire time. I don't think he ever started with it, thank God, but we're going to see Parasol on the Pikasol, if you will. That will protect him against the Yveltal later in the game. Oh, looks like Jackson didn't get the second Archeops either in the discard. He was able to only bring back the Oranguru instead. So if you're going to go for that, I do agree that you bring back the Oranguru. But again, not ideal. You want to have 2 Archeops in play, especially in the mirror match, especially when your opponent is just going to Ultra Ball away 2 Archeops just like that. We are getting the Pikachu VMAX. We are going to use our VSTAR power. We are going to be able to bring double Archeops into play, and we will be able to put maybe some powerful colorless energies onto this Lugia VSTAR. Actually, we don't need any powerfuls on here. So I would like to see the V-Guard, and then maybe some just other random energies. You can put the powerfuls on there. Wouldn't be awful. But you do know if Jackson is able to get 3... Well, you know that Jackson can't get 3 powerful energies on the Lugia VSTAR on the other side here. So I think actually putting the powerful energies on here is correct. Because now you know that you can one-shot their VSTAR while they can't one-shot yours. As long as, of course, Evan is playing Choice Belt in his list. Sometimes the Flying Pikachu builds do not play Choice Belt, just because they know that they can hit for weakness in the mirror match. So we are going to take that knockout. We are going to take 2 prize cards. Jackson is still ahead since he took 2 prize cards first, but I think his board build is a little weaker. Especially since I think that the biggest thing for Jackson is that he used 2 powerful colorless energies on the Stoutland. Especially since he has that Choice Belt, you would have been able to have the knockout here. I think that that was an absolutely huge misplay. It doesn't seem like it's that big of a deal, but it really, that 20 damage matters so much. We are going to go for an Evolution Incense, probably just thinning the deck of either a Lugia VSTAR or an Archeops. Again, very unfortunate you could not get that Archeops into the discard pile earlier, but you gotta do what you gotta do. Especially when you're down a game in a mirror, you don't want to get only one Archeops out. Lugia Mirror is honestly a very fun matchup in my opinion. It's more than just who goes first. Obviously, whoever goes first does have a pretty big advantage, but you can really outplay your opponent if you go second sometimes. You can have cute techs like the Escape Rope even, which will be able to give you cheap wins that way. I managed to go 2-0 against the 2 Lugia decks that I did play against. I 2-0'd both of them. We are going to use the Primal Turbo. We can only use one a turn. So again, even though Jackson has a couple powerful colorless energies, he'll still be short of even attacking with the Lugia V-Star unless he gets a double turbo onto this thing. He needs to attach for a turn and get a double turbo. So yeah, I would definitely go V-Guard, double turbo, and then just an attach for turn from hand. But yeah, you can see just how pitiful his board state is here compared to Evan's. Evan has a flying Pikachu that is a turn away from being able to get going. He's got a Raikou already benched. He's got 2 Archeops. And Jackson here, he's just got a bunch of bench sitters. And he's only got one Archeops. Does not get the full benefit of being able to get 4 energy cards a turn. So it looks like we are using Primal Turbo to get out a Professor's Research that we want to bench. So not quite sure what's going on here. Okay. So, yep. So we are just continuing to look through the deck off of the Primal Turbo, making sure that we have the Luminion. We do grab that out of the deck, play it, and we Bosses orders up the flying Pikachu. That way we can take our own 2 prize knockout here. We do attach a powerful colorless energy that we got off our prizes from hand for turn, and we will take the knockout on the flying Pikachu here. So we will have to see if Evan is able to get to a choice belt. He will be able to one-shot this Lugia with his own. If he doesn't, I think it's still correct to promote it. You could always retreat it if you have to. Looks like... I'm actually not sure. Is that the Burnett in his hand? Can't really tell. Yeah, I wouldn't be going Raikou just because your opponent has the Dunsparce Manaphy combo. So we are going to Evo Incense. That'll thin our deck of yet another Archeops or Lugia V-Star. Just to get that out of there. Evan's hand might be a little bit dead at this point. So he might not be able to take the one-shot with the Lugia V-Star here. Oh, it's a Skyla. Okay, so he has Skyla. So he has Skyla for the choice belt, and he will be able to take the knockout. So yep, that's pretty much game here from Jackson's side, unless Evan does not have access to a choice belt, which you would have think he would have just looked for. Oh no, he doesn't have access to the choice belt. He's going to quick ball away the Lugia V-Star. Okay, so this is still a game. It's still anybody's game here. I'm going to have to check to see if there is still a choice belt in the prize cards. No, there's no choice belt in the prize cards. It's Hiding Darkness Energy, a Flying Pikachu, an Archeops, and something else that I can't tell, but it looks like either like a Lugia V-Star or maybe a Stoutland or maybe a Full Art Supporter. I can't really tell from this. Looks like we are going to be charging up the Evital. Okay, so this is just as good in my opinion. So you are going to have to retreat the Lugia V-Star, which will make it so you don't have those powerfuls on there. I think you can afford to discard the V-Guard, in my honest opinion. At this point, your opponent's not going to have any V Pokemon in play that can really do much of anything to the Lugia. The Stoutland is already down. The only other V Pokemon that are really left from Jackson are the Luminions and the regular V Lugias. With how many powerful colorless energies are down, you're always going to be able to be two-shot at minimum from these Pokemon anyway. Looks like that may have been a supporter, and the Hiding Darkness were both taken. So, yep, does go for the Evital. That does not care about V-Guard energy, because not only is it not a V, but it just knocks out your opponent's active. Jackson is correctly going for the Luminion V this turn, but if Evan just has a boss's orders, he can always just boss up Archeops on the next turn and just effectively checkmate from there, just because there will be no way for Jackson to get energies into play. But Jackson is doing the correct play. This is all that he really has available to him right now. Looks like he is going to Luminion again, so that also gives Evan the ability to actually win the game off of a boss's orders, but he does grab the Roxanne, does put a Choice Belt on the Luminion as well. That will be going back into deck. We can play the Roxanne. So this is actually a really decent play here from Jackson. He is able to take the one shot on the Evital, going down to one prize card remaining. He's going to have a fresh hand of 6. And the best Evan can do is just hope to draw boss's orders off his 2 from Roxanne and his draw for turn. Or Serena, either one. He just has to knock out this Luminion. So Jackson is playing everything he can. He is definitely playing this correctly. It'll just be basically down to luck as to whether he's able to pull this match back or not. But again, definitely skillful play from here to be able to bench that Luminion and just go for the Roxanne. Then you also have a way to still go for the Archeops on the next turn. So yeah, you lose to boss even if you don't put the Luminion V in play. So you might as well just do the thing. And now Jackson also has to get boss himself. Oh, but it looks like off the top deck we do get a Quick Ball. We'll discard one of the 2 Lugia Vs that he got for off the Roxanne. Goes for Luminion for boss's orders to bring up the Luminion and wins the game. So that is it for this match. Evan does win 2-0. Very unfortunate for Jackson. Just that first game was just very unlucky how he started. And game 2, he only getting 1 Archeops just really put him on such a back foot. So, yep, Evan Campbell able to win the game 2-0, but still great play from Jackson. He was able to play to his out so that he could potentially come back into that game. But yeah, could not really do much of anything else outside of that. Evan got really lucky getting that Quick Ball off the top of the deck, off of the Roxanne. And that is just how the game plays sometimes. As always, guys, do not forget to comment, like, and subscribe. Feed that very hungry YouTube algorithm. That makes sure that these videos get fed to other people on YouTube as well. The channel can keep growing, and we can keep getting more content like this out. Only about 15% of watch time right now is from subscribers, so keep that going, keep subscribing. That way it can show up in your feed whenever I post a new video, so that you are more likely to see more videos like this if you are interested. And of course, if you're not interested, then you didn't make it this far in anyway. So we will see you guys next time.